She signed the contract to survive, not to love, forced into a marriage with a man made of ice and power. She planned her escape from day one. But hearts don't obey. Contracts and love has a way of rewriting every rule. The pen trembled in her hand as Amara Vale signed her name, each letter sealing a fate she never wanted. The room smelled of polished wood and power. Everything about it screamed control. Across the table sat Lucien Cross, CEO, billionaire, and now her husband by contract. His face was unreadable, eyes dark and distant, as though emotions were a language he had long forgotten. This marriage was not born of love but desperation. Her family's collapse, the debts, the threats. Lucien's offer had come, like a lifeline wrapped in chains. 1 year as his wife. No love. No questions. Complete obedience in public. Freedom at the end. At least, that was the promise. The mansion became her gilded cage. Marble floors echoed beneath her footsteps, and silence clung to the walls like a shadow. Lucien was rarely home, and when he was, he spoke in measured tones, distant and professional, as though she were another clause in his empire. Amara told herself this was good. Distance made rebellion easier. She spent her nights planning, dreaming of the day the contract would expire. She would leave without a backward glance. Yet sometimes, she caught Lucien watching her when he thought she wasn't looking, his gaze lingering like a question he refused to ask. The rules arrived neatly typed, cold and precise. No emotional involvement. No interference in his business. Appear happy in public, sleep in separate rooms. Amara read them with a bitter smile. This wasn't a marriage, it was a performance. But something shifted the first night she defied him. She challenged his authority at dinner, her voice steady despite her racing heart. For the first time, Lucien looked startled, not angry, curious. It was the moment she realized he wasn't used to being questioned, and that frightened him more than obedience ever could. Their first public appearance was a battlefield, disguised as a gala. Cameras flashed, smiles were exchanged, and Lucien's hand rested possessively on her waist. His touch was firm, grounding, and entirely unexpected. Amara felt it everywhere. When she whispered that he was holding her too tightly, he leaned closer, breath warm against her ear. "Trust me," he murmured, and against her better judgment, she did. For one dangerous moment, they moved as one, perfect, seamless, almost intimate. Late one night, Amara wandered into the study and found Lucien there, sleeves rolled up, tie undone, exhaustion written across his face. The mask had slipped. He looked human, vulnerable. They talked, really talked, about loss, about expectations, about the weight of becoming someone the world demands. Amara saw the loneliness he hid behind control, and Lucien saw the fire she hid behind politeness. Neither of them noticed when the line between contract and connection began to blur. Amara's rebellion was quiet but powerful. She began making choices without asking permission: charity events, business opinions, public statements. Each act of defiance tested Lucien's limits. Instead of stopping her, he listened. Instead of punishing her, he defended her. The man she thought was cold steel turned out to be something far more dangerous, a man capable of change, and that terrified her more than his cruelty ever could. The rain trapped them together one evening, thunder shaking the mansion as the lights went out. In the darkness, their laughter came easily, their closeness inevitable. When Lucien brushed a strand of hair from her face, the air between them ignited. He stopped himself at the last second, stepping back as though burned. "This was never part of the deal," he said, hoarsely. Amara nodded, her heart aching. But contracts meant nothing to hearts already in revolt. The truth emerged like a knife. Lucien hadn't married her for convenience alone. The contract protected her from enemies tied to his past, dangers she never knew existed. His control had been armor, his distance a shield. Anger warred with gratitude inside her. She felt betrayed and protected, loved and trapped. When she demanded her freedom early, Lucien agreed without protest. That hurt more than refusal ever could. Amara packed her bags with shaking hands. Lucien watched from the doorway, his silence louder than any plea. He didn't ask her to stay. He didn't fight. At the door, she turned back, hoping, praying for something, anything. His voice broke the silence. I never learned how to love without losing control, he said, softly. But I loved you anyway. She left with tears she refused to shed in front of him. Freedom tasted bittersweet. Amara rebuilt her life, stronger, braver, more herself than ever before. Yet every success echoed with Lucien's absence across the city. Lucien unraveled. The empire still stood, but the man behind it was lost. He realized too late that control had never protected him. It had cost him the one person who chose him without obligation. They met again by chance or fate months later. No contracts, no rules, just two people standing bare before each other. Lucien reached for her, not to claim, but to ask. Stay, he said, not as a command, but a plea. This time, Amara stepped into his arms freely, knowing love was only real when chosen. They married again, quietly, without witnesses or contracts, no clauses, no escape plans. Just promises written in trust. Amara's rebellion had changed everything, not just her fate, but his. And in choosing each other freely, they discovered the deepest romance of all, love without chains. If you loved the Contract Bride's rebellion, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more intense, romantic, and unforgettable stories on Renome Chronicles. Tell us in the comments, would you sign the contract or rebel like Amara?